Hey engineers, in the last video we covered Gemini's text generation capabilities, and in this video we'll be looking at image generation, also known as Google Nano Banana, that Google just released a couple of weeks ago. I'll show you how to edit images, generate images using prompts, and also detect objects in images. As usual, every code and notebook is available in the description below. Please grab it yourself and try it out. Let's dive into the video. Hey guys, like I said, we'll be covering Gemini's image generation capabilities, which unlocks very huge superpowers for us as developers, because now we can build applications that leverage this API to do things like image generation, image editing, compositing, which is also called multi-image fusion, which is where you take different images and you combine or you blend them to make a single image. So we'll be using our favorite cat image, which is the cat and the mascot of the Gemini API series. For resources, we'll be using the resource like the Gemini cookbook and also the official documentation from Gemini. And you would need to grant this notebook access to Gemini through the API key. You can provision 1 year. If you're following along with this tutorial and you're using this notebook, ensure you have granted it notebook access. And also you would need to grant drive access, because that's where most of the resources would be. So let's just go into our outline. First, we'll cover what Gemini image generation supports, text and optional image input. We'll cover the key features like multi-image fusion, editing and context-aware generation, and I'll show you some things that I've encountered when working with the Gemini API for image generation, and also when we do want to use the Gemini image generation. I've covered it previously, but like I said, you'll want to use it for consistent character generation. Say you're creating a comic book and you're using a single character. Through Gemini's image generation features, you can generate multiple images of that character in different settings. You want to also edit images using prompts, and you also want to remix images into new context, which is called multi-image fusion. Now, before we proceed, for you to successfully use the image generation API in Gemini, you need to be on a paid tier. You don't need to pay any money for this. All you just need to do is set a billing account in your Google Cloud Console, and then you'll be promoted to a higher tier than the free tier. Now, as usual, all we need to do is go through the setup. We install the Gemini Gen AI client. We import these packages, which we'll use later, and then we retrieve the keys, and then we create a client. Now, like I earlier explained, multi-image fusion is a capability in Gemini that allows you to take multiple images, I think about 2 to 3 at the moment, combine them to create a single image. And for the purpose of this tutorial, I will show you that you can use a single image that you have and have Gemini also generate another image, combine them together to get a single image. So let's see it in action. Here we just define a simple function that, given a file name and a data, we save the binary file to the file system. And here we retrieve the cat image that I showed you earlier from our drive folder. And all we just do then is using the inline method of passing the files and also passing the image. What we do is we create a content part with our prompt here, where we tell you to generate an image of a banana wearing a costume with this cat as a sidekick. Very important. So the cat image that we already loaded here, we pass it to Gemini in this array. And here we configure 2 things. We specify that the type of the content that we're passing is an image and also a text, meaning this image and also this text. And this is very important because that would help Gemini understand how to go about with the generation. And then all we then do is, because we also want to receive text response from Gemini, we will stream the output and we check. If we don't have any output yet, we just continue. But if there is inline data and there is data in the inline data, what we do is we specify the file name, we create an index, and then we retrieve this inline data and we retrieve the data buffer, and we specify the mean type to be the type of the inline data that we retrieve, and then we just basically save the binary file. Otherwise, if it's not of type inline data but it's of type text, all we just do is print the text chunk. And when we run this, we see here that we first get the text. Here is an image of a banana in a costume with a cat as a sidekick, and here we see that once we call the save binary file, we basically save the binary file to the file system and we log it here, and that is what we're doing here. And if we open up our drive folder and we just go down, we can see that Gemini has successfully generated an image of a banana villain and our cat as a sidekick. And this is super cool and super powerful, right? This is just scratching the surface. The purpose of this tutorial is not to show you a full-blown implementation of this, but to show you that something like this exists and you can go ahead and build powerful applications. Another thing I want to show you is the ability to edit images, and this is a very simple example. And in future tutorials, one of the things I really want to build is an application that allows anyone to edit an image based on a reference style. Think, for example, this would be useful for people like me who loves traveling but are very bad photographers. We can then pass the images we take to the application, and the application optimizes and improves the images. Maybe, for example, it improves the lighting, it reduces the shadow, things like that, right? And that would be so cool to work on. And if you stay tuned and you follow me along, or you want me to work on that, please leave a comment and I will accelerate the development of that project, and everything will be recorded so you could also learn. But let's just see a very quick and easy example of image editing in Gemini. So here we have a prompt: create a picture of my cat wearing a red hat. We pass it the same file. This is very bad, and in future tutorials I will show you how to use the file upload API, where we can just upload once and then we would always just be able to reference that file. But this is not so bad again, because we're not uploading, we're just passing the file inline, but Gemini is always having to be referenced this file from the notebook. But once we've done that, what we then do is we check in the content parts if there is an inline data, that is where the file will be saved. What we do is then we just immediately pass the bytes and open the image, and then save the output to a generated image to PNG. And if we run this, I've run this already so we don't waste time in this tutorial, but if we run this, you will see that it successfully used the cat image you provided, and it edited it and only added a hat to it. Well, I guess Christmas is very close by as at the time I'm recording this video, which is why Gemini may be using a Christmas hat on the cat. But let's open the cat image, and we see that from our own eyes, the only difference between these two images is that one has a cat, but every other thing stays the same. And this is really powerful, guys. Trust me, when we build the applications that we can build with this, you will see how powerful it is. So recap, guys, we've covered generation of images using the multi-image fusion approach. You don't have to use multi-image fusion all the time. You can just pass a image to Gemini to have it generate what you want, or you can even just have Gemini generate images based on prompts. We didn't cover image generation through JSON prompts or XML prompts. That's not the purpose of this series. If you want me to go into more details about that, just let me know and I will show you how to do that. We've also covered image editing, and we also just covered consistent character image generation, because now with just a single image, we generated a image where the only thing that was edited is the hat on the cat. If you made it to this part of the video, thank you so much, guys. It means a lot that you're still watching. If you loved it, please like it, subscribe, and comment. I would love to read your comments, as that helps me improve and that helps me know what you would like me to create next. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.